This is Stephen Witkowski from Christian Music Network, and we're here with Lee Whitaker. So how are you doing, Lee?
I'm doing great now.
Great, awesome. Yeah, so congratulations. This is the first time you were on Zoom. Awesome.
Yes, my very first time. So thank you for helping me through this a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, certainly. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I've been I'm a school teacher. I was a school teacher.
Okay.
And now I'm just working on music full time. When I was a school teacher for many years, I was still working on music. I get home from school and I would work on promotion and getting my songs out there. And I go to the United Methodist Church in Pittman, New Jersey. And we just started up again a few months ago. But we also stream over there. And when we were shut down for a while because of the pandemic, we were also doing a live stream. And I love playing every Sunday. And hopefully real soon I'll be able to go out and play some concerts again. And so that's basically it. I will be going to Mexico in a few months to do some concerts at Iglesia de Cristo Vida Nueva. Now, It sounds like I know Spanish, Steve, but I really don't.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So how did you get into music?
Well, it started actually when I was like in, I don't know, 4th, 5th grade. And my mom said to me, I saw a lady, a sign out that says, teaching guitar lessons. And that's what got me started in music many years ago. I won't tell you how many, but it's been a while.
Wow.
And that's basically it. And then I started playing in many bands at weddings and socials and things like that. And then I would always play in church at the Methodist Church. And then sometime later, I started playing at the Presbyterian Church. And then now I'm back playing at the Methodist Church in Pittman. But music has been just a wonderful blessing to me. And God has been leading me towards doing more and more Christian music. And that's what I'm doing right now, Christian music.
Awesome. So you have some music to share. So
yeah, I'd like to share a couple things. The first song I'd like to do, I actually did it in church on Sunday. It's called Lord of Everything. And I have to thank my sister, if I could tell that story to you.
Sure. Yes.
Quite a few years ago, my sister gave me a call and she said, I want to ask you a favor. Now, my sister was going to seminary at the time.
Okay.
And she's a pastor now, but she was going to seminary. And she said, as part of my obligations to fulfill my duties, I need to preach in my home church, maybe once a month, maybe every 6-7 weeks. I said, okay, now where do I come in here? And she said, well, I would like you to write a song based on my sermon whenever I have to preach. And I said, okay. And I was a little bit unsure of that. I had written many songs up until that point, and I had written some Christian songs, but I had never been given an assignment like that. You're going to write a song based on my sermon. And I said, yeah, I would love to try that. And she said, you don't have to worry about anything. This was actually before you could Google everything on the internet. She said, I will give you all of my notes. And I said, that's terrific. And this was one of the first songs called Lord of Everything. And then Jesus blessed me a few years ago with the #1 on the National Airplay Gospel charts with this particular song, Lord
Awesome.
of Everything. So yeah, I'd like to do that right now.
Okay.
I'd like to thank my sister, Pastor Sandy, for giving me that opportunity. And then she went on to give me quite a few more sermons, and I started writing songs for her. So that was a real blessing. Most of my songs are based on the Bible, and this is based on Luke, Mark, and the book of Acts. And it's about making the Lord or making Jesus just Lord of everything you do. And I hope that comes out. The rich ones brought their gifts to the temple hall. Some were impressed by the size of them all. Then 2 small copper coins were dropped in the plate. And Jesus said, this gift I will celebrate. The rich would never miss what they gave today. But the poor widow, she gave it all away. Lord of everything, it makes the angels sing when you give it all to the Lord. Creator of the land and sea, He will provide your every need and lift you up on His gentle wings. When He's your Lord of everything, He's my Lord of everything. They claim no ownership of their possessions. The believers were of one heart and mind. They sold their property and lived in harmony, sharing what they had. It was God's design. The followers were filled with the Holy Spirit, and they spread the word for all the world to hear it. Lord of everything, it makes the angels sing when you give it all to the Lord. Creator of the land and sea, He will provide your every need, lift you up on His gentle wings. When He's your Lord of everything, give Him your time and your talents too. A portion of what you make, He wants all of you. Lord of everything, it makes the angels sing when you give it all to the Lord. Creator of the land and sea, He will provide your every need, lift you up on His gentle wings. When He's your Lord of everything, He's my Lord of everything. My Lord of everything. My Lord of everything. My Lord. Yeah, He's my Lord. He's my Lord of everything. Not just on Sunday, make Him Lord of everything. Yeah, yeah. Not just on Sunday, make Him Lord of everything. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Awesome. Great, 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 great. Yeah, your volume needs to be up a little bit, yeah. So,
Really?
yeah, so, yeah. So, there you go.
I can get that up a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time
Mm.
getting it. Let me see this here. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned something, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was fading there, yeah. So.
All right. Could you hear that last song at all?
Yes. It's just started fading at the end. It's like, okay, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning that.
Yeah. So what's your next song?
All right. The next song is it's got an interesting story. It's
Okay.
called In My Heart Is a Well. And about 12, 15 years ago, I recorded a country album. And that country album did well. I promoted it in Europe. And I did a European radio tour, and it was getting a lot of airplay. And this song went to #1 in the Netherlands.
Wow.
And yeah, and God really opened up the doors over there for me a while back, and it was a lot of fun. And my wife was worried because she's she's kind of the navigator wherever we go, and she wasn't going over with me. She went over for a week or two. We had a little vacation, but then she went back home. But I made it. I went to Denmark and Sweden and through Germany and the Netherlands, and it was just Belgium. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I played live at just about every radio show, and that's what got me on the charts over there, because these independent stations, some of them gave me an hour, and they would talk to me in the native tongue and introduce me in Dutch or Flemish or Swedish, which was very interesting. And then he would, the disc jockey would interview me in English, because I didn't know those languages, naturally. And then he would ask me about music and my life over here in this country. And then I would sing a song, and we would talk about the song, and then he would then translate it into Dutch or Flemish or Swedish, and it would go back and forth like that for the whole hour. And I sang maybe 3, 4, 5 songs during that hour, and there was a lot of talking, and it was very, very exciting. But this first song that did well over there and ended up on the charts in the Netherlands, I had always thought that the song "In My Heart Is a Well" would and should be dedicated to God. It should be kind of a Christian song. And I worked on it a couple years ago, and I just re-recorded the song this past year, and I'll probably put this out in well, I don't know, February or March maybe. But it's called "In My Heart Is a Well," and I'm very excited about the song. And would you like to hear it now?
Sure, yeah, certainly.
In In my heart is a well, in that well is a love. God's love is flowing deep and it will never run dry. You can't use it up, he's got a never-ending supply. In my heart is a well, God's love will never run dry. My life was like a desert withered in the sun, and nothing seemed to grow but heartache and pain. But when you came along, I started overflowing with a love that blooms after the rain. In my heart is a well, in that well is a love. God's love is flowing deep and it will never dry. You can't use it up, he's got a never-ending supply. In my heart is a well, God's love will never run dry. Just like a cool oasis in the burning sand, you got the love springing up in me. But not so long ago, my love was running dry. You filled me up so very high. Yeah, for some reason it keeps muting in the middle of the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Did it mute for a while?
yeah, yes. Yeah.
Well, you missed the best part of the song.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
So that was In My Heart Is a Well, and I will. I was going to say re-record it. It was re-recorded a few months ago, and hopefully you'll hear that on the radio.
Okay.
Yes. Let. Would you like me to do the last part of that since we lost the?
Yeah, certainly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my heart is a well, in that well is a love. God's love is flowing deep and it will never run dry. You can't use it up, he's got a never-ending supply. In my heart is a well, God's love will never run dry. Let God set apart Christ as Lord within your hearts. 1 Peter 3:15. In my heart is a well, in that well is a love. God's love is flowing deep and it will never run dry. You can't use it up, he's got a never-ending supply. In my heart is a well, God's love will never run dry. In my heart love will sanctify, never run dry. There we are.
Hey. Woo. All right. Good.
Yeah, I hope the volume stays on, but it's been going back and forth, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Technical, yeah. Yeah. It's a challenge by itself, so Oh, well. Yeah. So what's your next song?
Well, there is a song that I wrote quite a few years ago, and I recorded it in a studio, my songwriting partner's studio up in North Jersey, Guy Scott. And we got a fantastic gospel singer to add some color to this.
Okay.
But again, I had always thought that, boy, this would be a great song with a gospel choir singing it. And I was playing over in Philly a few years ago, and the guy who was doing the talent, booking the talent at the Kimmel Center, said to me, have you ever been to the Kimmel Center? I said, no, I haven't. And he said, well, I'm going to give you a couple free tickets, and you're going to go see Carpathia Jenkins. Well, Carpathia Jenkins, as it turns out, sang on Prepare the Way many years before, and she was doing a lot of concerts, playing with a lot of orchestras around the world. And I went to see her sing at the Kimmel Center. It was around Christmas time, but the gospel choir, the St. Thomas Gospel Choir in Philadelphia, was just fantastic. And as it turns out, they actually do the Kimmel Center Christmas show every year. Wow. So I decided, this is such a great choir. And they were dressed in their African garb and the hats and the robes, and it was just very exciting. So I asked the director, I said, would you be interested in recording with me? And he said, sure. And Carpathia Jenkins wasn't able to at that time, but the gospel choir did, the St. Thomas Gospel Choir. And we had a great time recording that over the next few months. And you can listen to Prepare the Way on, I think it's on Apple Music, and it's on Spotify, I think, and a few other places. But it's called Prepare the Way. And since Advent is coming up in a few weeks, Steve, the song is about Advent. And Advent, as you know, is a time of preparation for Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas, when the baby Jesus was born. So I sang this song, and we're hoping to put it out. It's too late to put it out again this year, but next year around Christmas time, we will be putting this back out. And I think it landed in the top 10 or number 10 on the international gospel charts a few years back. So I would love to do that right now. And it's basically the story of preparing the way for the King who is coming, Jesus.
Awesome.
And I will try to stand up here.
All right.
Prepare the way. Prepare the way. The King is coming. Prepare the way. The Prince of Peace is near. Light the candles, and the darkness disappears. Follow the star. The King will soon be here. Isaiah got a message 3,000 years ago from the branch of Jesse. The Son of God would grow. His chosen servant will bring justice to all near. Light the candles, and the darkness disappears. Follow the star, the king will soon be here. An angel said to Mary, do not be afraid. God has found favor with you this very day. In your womb you will conceive and bear a son. You shall name him Jesus. He is the Holy One. Prepare the way. The King is coming. Prepare the way. The Prince of Peace is near. Light the candles, and the darkness disappears. Follow the star, the King will soon be here. Prepare the way, the King is coming. Prepare the way, the Prince of Peace is near. Light the candles, and the darkness disappears. Follow the star, the King will soon be here. Follow the star, the King will soon be here. Yes, prepare the way.
Awesome. So,
And that's what we're doing right now. We're preparing the way. And I hope during this Advent season that we think about the true meaning of why we have Christmas in the first place. And that's to celebrate the Nativity.
great. So where can we find all your music?
Well, it used to be on CD Baby,
Right.
but they stopped.
Yes.
They stopped a while back. They're still in business, but now you can find it on iTunes and probably Spotify, I guess. But I know it's on iTunes, and yeah, and I hopefully will be promoting all of these songs again this next year. This Prepare the Way, it was interesting. I was in Europe with my wife a few years ago, and I decided that I would try to play my Jesus music in some pubs.
Mhm.
And I went out at night, and it was great. And I cleared it ahead of time in some of these cities, and I said to the guy that was running, they don't call them open mics there; they call them I forget what they call them. But anyway, I said, I play Christian music, and I would like to play some of my Christian music in your pub. And he said, that's great, that's fine. And so I would introduce every song. Prepare the Way was one that I did, and a number of others. And I would talk about my walk with God, and everybody was drinking and having a good time, but they were listening to me. And when I got off the stage, a few young men came up to me and started talking to me about God and about how they had fallen away. They had gone to church when they were little kids, and now they'd fallen away. But now that they had kids, little children at home, they thought it was very important for them to set an example and show them the true life of, believing in God and Jesus. And that was such a rewarding time that I had, just going in these pubs and talking to people about God. Because normally when you go into a pub, you really don't hear anything about the Lord.
Right.
And I was a little bit nervous doing it, but the response was quite good. And there are a lot of people who are searching. And I just couldn't believe that after I got done and I was sitting at the bar, or standing at the bar, these guys, and they were probably in their 20s, 30s, maybe, would come up to me and talk to me about what I had said about being in tune with Jesus and him being my Lord and Savior. So Steve, that was such an exciting time for me to be able to share the word in a pub. So I can't wait to go back. And I was set to go back about 3 years ago, and I had some health problems and some things happened. I was in an accident, but I will be going back there again. I was also going back to Iglesia de Cristo Villanueva. Oh, Lee knows Spanish, but I don't. I have that memorized. I've got to start boning up on my Spanish. But it's music has been just a blessing to me, and God keeps on giving me these songs, and he's leading me in this direction. And I don't know where it's going to end, but I thank God for the privilege to be able to do that, especially those pubs. It's one thing playing in a church, but playing Jesus music in a pub and then talking to people about the situation and how you're living, and they were really hungry to hear the word. So that was exciting.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, Jesus went out there, was where people were at,
Yes,
could you imagine if Christians would share the gospel, to people, where
they
they're
are.
at,
Yes.
make a tremendous opportunity,
Mhm. Yes. And like I said, I think I said, I was a little, well, I knew God was with me, and I didn't know what kind of reception I would get, but it was a very positive reception, because
Awesome.
I don't think these people have ever heard about God in a bar, in a pub.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So, I want to go back and do that again, Steve. Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome. So yeah. So tell me what your concerts are like here.
What are here?
Your
the
concerts.
concerts?
Yes.
Oh, well, I've played at a number of churches, one in Morristown. That was before the accident, and a couple of churches in I can't remember the name of the place. It's down a ways. I've played at our breakfasts in the Pittman United Methodist Church. We used to have a once a month free. It wasn't a free breakfast, but it was terrific. And so I don't have a lot planned, but like I said, I will be going back to Mexico, and I need to get out there and start finding some jobs and some Christian places to play. If any of your listeners would like to have me come, that would be great. And they can get in touch with me or you.
Okay.
And,
yes.
I would love to.
So how can they contact you?
Well, they can find me at Lee Whitaker Music at gmail.com, and that's
Okay.
Whitaker with one T, LeeWhitaker music at gmail.com. They can look me up. The website has not been updated in a while, but it's Lee Whitaker leewhitaker.com. And but the email is probably the best thing. And
Okay.
and they can text me at 609-980-4749. And I would love to talk to anyone who would like to have me come play for their church or their gathering. By the last quite a few years, I've been doing basically all Christian music. I throw another a song or two in that isn't a Christian song, but most of my songs that I've been writing, they're all Christian. And this is the album called Alabaster Jar.
Awesome.
And there's 11 songs on here, and you can find that around. And I'll be doing a number of songs from that album, and I'm going to be recording after the holidays. I'm going to start recording again. So it's all been a blessing, and God has really, really blessed me and helped me out, and has put his arms around me when I've been having medical problems and stuff. So
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Yes. So do you have any advice for other musicians?
Well, yeah, I do. It's if you're, especially if you're a Christian musician, you just have to get out there and play. And churches are the best place to do that. And but like I had played some pubs in England, and that worked out fine. If you're a Christian artist, and there are a ton of Christian artists, I suggest you just get to know as many people in the business as you can, and just get your music out there when you can. But the important thing is to go out and play. Now, the last few years, I haven't played out that much, only in church because of the pandemic. And even before that, I would play maybe once a month or something, but I'm looking to go and play more. And like I said, I do want to go back to Mexico, and I do want to go back to England and play some churches and play some pubs, and introduce Jesus to the pubs. I guess it's just getting out there and meeting as many people as you can, and playing as much as you can, and just pray about it, and God will lead you in the right direction. That's about all, I guess.
Amen. Well,
Yes.
I'd like to thank you for coming on. It was my pleasure.
Well, thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it, being here with you. And also, now that I know how to do the Zoom, I have to get a couple things fixed. But I appreciate you, Steve, what you're doing, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you for kind of leading me through this whole thing, since this was really my first time doing the Zoom thing.
Yes, certainly. Any last words?
Last words. Yes. Advent is coming up in a few weeks, and it's a time of preparation, and we need to spend some time, rather than just shopping all the time and thinking about what we need to buy. We need to spend time with Jesus and think about spreading the word of God, because this season is about the nativity. And so that's important. And the Advent time is a time to prepare for that special day. So yeah, they're my words.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So
thank you, Steve.
Yes. And I want to wish you a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and hopefully next year will be a much better year. So yeah,
Yes, yes.
praise God.
And thank you, Steve, for asking me again. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. No, no problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Certainly, certainly. Well, God bless you.
God bless you, Steve.
Yep.
And I will see you around.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good night.
Good night. Take care, Steve.